I just got back from the DLC in DLC. It's not DLC. It's European Continental in Paris, which was amazing fun. Really good. Awesome to see everyone. Loads of good games. All the players I had were amazing opponents, just really kind people, and it's just really good to see like a really nice positive scene. In TCGs because sometimes they can go a bit sour with other TCGs, but no, Lorcana's in a really, really strong spot. And sorry, I didn't really know what to put the picture of in the background is as because I'm gonna mention that I won't be posting the deck list in the immediate future. Just because the deck that I ran is not mine. It's created by Justin. Justin Shadows goes by the name on Discord. So great shout out to that player for bringing this list together. It's awesome. As I say, no credit. It's not my list at all. Just been testing with it, and it was just going to this event. I felt was really strong, so I asked if I could run it. So we are. So I won't be posting the list in the immediate future. Out of respect to the player, it's up to them. It's their right if they want to post it or not. Not mine. So yeah, there you go. There's no ill intentions behind that. Just that's what the situation with posting the list. So I went for a screenshot of the live stream. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that because they don't VOD any of the live streams, but that's what we're gonna go for. But yeah, going into the event, I really knew I was just going to play blue steel. I looked at all the other sort of color combinations that I could have picked. You could pick green purple and then play a bunch of mirrors. You could pick red purple, or you could pick any purple deck and go for a bunch of mirrors. And I just didn't feel like I wanted to learn an entire new deck going into this event. We could pick red blue. I didn't feel red blue was that strong actually right now, but we've been proven that's kind of wrong. Well, we didn't really. I guess it just had a very strong turnout, but I don't think it proved itself as amazing right now in this purple meta. So I just stuck with blue steel. I thought Chicho no wheel, which was my top pick, was just not going to be strong enough. I didn't really have any expectations for this event as well. No real, I wouldn't say no confidence for it. I just generally didn't have any expectations. I turned up for the Friday last chance qualifier, and I actually had a way home. I had a way to get back home that day, back to England from Paris. I generally thought turn up, scrub out round one, go home, do a video about how I scrubbed out, and we ended up making the actual European qualification, and we ended up having to find a place to sleep that night as well, and then book another way home. Which was really great. You know, it was just an amazing experience. It was just like a once in a lifetime sort of situation. But yeah, we went for this sort of build, and of course, I'm not going to share the lists as I mentioned, but as you can see, it has a very different playstyle. We're gaining a lot of the lore from the questing and the location and stuff like that. We're just trying to very much tempo-wise make a very awkward board state for them, as you can see with the two Smees and the Cogsworth out. I played it in different environments and testing in Lorcanito. It just always performs very well. I really like this style. Of course, as well, not trying to spoil the list too much. You can see the Alice around. I think there's loads of lists as well that are utilizing that Alice card. Basically, what it went with is what's the most broken card or the most powerful card in Sapphire right now. Because steel is sort of your dual color, like I don't know how to describe that, but you have, of course, one color and then the other color is like a removal. So like purple and then you have red or purple and steel. So we have blue and then steel is like our sort of secondary color, but blue is kind of what we want to build the deck around. And I just really think Alice is good. I think the ward's really useful. The questing power is really useful. We've actually got a 1/4 that's very hard to remove because it also has ward, and then you can start playing the Cogsworths on top of it to protect it. So I think that card is fundamentally really great. Trying to fit that into just like a standard, you can't just shove that into blue steel wheel lists or blue steel no wheel lists. It doesn't seem to work. So we've got this awesome build about gaining like aggregates of lots of lore by questing and stuff like that, and just making a fundamentally awkward board state for our opponent. And against the low to the ground meta, it seems to be performing very very well. Like I say, it overperformed at the event that we played at. I mean, of course, we got so far into the Continentals. We ended up getting 42nd because best of two in that environment with those players was very hard. It was just so many splits. And I didn't think the deck was 100% refined, as Justin who works on it as well. We don't play this game full time, like we've got jobs and lives, so we just sort of put some hours in each day and try and work on it and test and practice with the deck. So yeah, I was still really happy with how it performed. I was also surprised of how polite everyone was around the deck. It's very much not, a top class meta deck right now, but everyone was very chuffed and said how good it was and all these things like that. So I was really grateful to tell Justin, you made something special here, and you've made a list I think that people have to respect now, and people have to see these sort of combos with the Alice and this sort of build around Sapphire Steel. And I'll admit I've seen other versions as well. In Battle of the Bay, there was a version using John Silver, but used a lot of what I'm using right here, right now, in this list. So I don't think it's a foreign idea. It's definitely out there. It just kind of needs to be put a little bit more on the map, and maybe this has done that. I don't know. But yeah, just amazing list. And I'll go through sort of the matchups. So we did the last chance qualifier, and again, this deck wants to dodge Ruby Sapphire. And in my opinion, another reason why I picked it was everyone's going solo to the ground. Ruby Sapphire can't exist at a high percentages environment. Utterly proven wrong there, but we only faced two Ruby Sapphires over the 2 days we played. I just thought, of all of this purple just being so great at questing, and then even if you Sisu or whatever and you kill a bunch of Diablos, you're still up huge like hand advantage because Diablo, Genie, every card they basically play gives them a card. So it didn't matter if the board gets cleared, they just play a bunch more stuff. So I thought, yeah, maybe red blue can't exist in this environment. Utterly proven wrong. A lot of people went away because they just love red blue and went, well, we'll just make a deck that beats this new meta that we're sort of forming around all these purple decks. And yeah, a lot of people did well. They made day twos. They got to the qualifiers. And it was like 34% meta shell setting red blue. I assume they forfeit some of the mirror because they cut things like big dragons and top end stuff, and some of them weren't even on dimes and whatnot. So they must forfeit a lot of the mirror matchup to try and win this one. Maybe even forfeit the red purple. I'm not sure about that. I guess the low to the ground stuff still deals with all of the stuff that red purple is doing, and then they've got a better top end with the Tamatars and such. So there was some really interesting lists, but we managed to dodge them, which I was quite happy about. So that just also comes down to it's a TCG, so you could bring the best deck for the event and find the 5 hyper aggros in the room and lose to them all. So on top of everything, you have to remember the pairings are very good. The deck ran very smoothly on that Friday. It was exactly how I needed it to run. There's only one game where I had about 6 uninkables and one card in hand, but we managed to pilot it through that. And because it was a best of 3 with knockouts each round, you had to play quite tight. And there's no people were really taking risks with their plays. They were just fully, making sure every line was tight, no room for error, which just yeah, it made it for quite an interesting event. Of course, if you lost a round, you got knocked out, and that must have been a crushing feeling. And of course, if you lose round 1, it's sort of, oh, all right, I lost, that's sad, I'm out. But I didn't lose in round 4 or whatever, which would have been worse. So yeah, we know the matchups are very good. A lot of purple decks, Ruby, Amethyst, Purple Steel. And we got one Ruby Sapphire, which was lovely guy. I believe his name was Ryan. Awesome guy, flew over from America. And I think I learned a lot from that matchup as well. And what I quite like about best of 3 compared to best of 2, because this is a best of 3 5 rounds. A lot of decks, and I find that maybe I'll focus in on Sapphire Steel here. So I don't really care too much about the play draw disparity. I feel like if you're a good enough player, you should be able to win on the draw. Otherwise, why are you playing this deck and everything like that? But a lot of decks like this one, we have teched in some removal cards and stuff like that, which would be utterly useless in Sapphire, Ruby Sapphire, and even like some cards just that are inkable. We might not know what our opponent's doing, and we ink a card, play a card, and we've inked the card that helps us win that matchup because we didn't know. And what you can do is in a best of 3, you can carry that information over to the other 2 games. So we went 3-0 in 3 of the rounds, and then 2 of the rounds we went 2-1. The first round was Ruby Amethyst, and we went 2-1. Again, that was just a very interesting Ruby Amethyst list, so we didn't really know what to do. Because you test quite highly for every deck you expect to see, and then when you see a deck you don't really know how to play it. But yeah, we managed to 2-1 that one, and then the Ruby Sapphire one, yeah, you sort of start learning the matchup, and also there's such a good thing if you get to play against your opponent's deck, and you get to see what cards they have. So it's always a good tip. It's what I did with the game 1 was you just play the game out, even if you're going to lose it. And basically what you want to do is make them farm through their cards. You can see what removal they have, see what actions and sort of characters they play, and just see what cards they have. And we noticed they didn't play Hideaway, or it was very unlikely they played Hideaway because we had Mukduks getting us to like 19 lore. And if they played so many Visions and Hirems and stuff like that, if they had a Hideaway, they would have played it that turn in that game. So we noticed they didn't have one, so we just really leaned on that. We curved out in those next 2 games, characters, and then just played McDucks down and just got massive amounts of increments of lore and got over the finish line. So that was the most interesting game. Into a lot of the purple steel, this list sort of does quite well. We play low to the ground, but we just say like we're going to race you. Alice is a huge quester because she gains 3 lore a turn if you buff something and make that thing quest as well. You play your Smees down. The Calhoun can trade things to slow your opponent down, and you also gain law as well. So it's very low to the ground, and we're just questing out with big questers and stuff like that. And I think with Lorcana right now, they've printed so many cards that quest for two and they're cheap or whatever. It's just you can do these things. You don't have to ramp to dime and do a 20 law turn. You can just quest turn sideways with your characters and play two drop, two quester, and all things like that. So yeah, it's very interesting. And then the next day, just also as well, amazing event. It was really well run. Uh, mad props, mad support to the people who run the event. Being at Disneyland was awesome. We got to go to the little like food area, and you get to chat with like all the players as well who were sort of qualified as well, and get a bit starstruck with some of them. So that was awesome. And yeah, it was just best of two, and it sort of sucks because a lot of these decks are low to the ground. You know, we played a lot of green purple, we played a lot of ruby amethyst, we played one ruby amethyst, sorry, and managed to get 2-0 there because I believe they just don't have that many questers to go wide with. But playing against green purple or purple steel, you know, they can just slam a bunch of questers down, two questers, or they can triple one drop or double one drop. And basically, what that means is on the play they win their game. On the play, you win your game, and in the best of two environment, that sort of sucks. You're kind of hoping for players to brick. My Ruby Amethyst player sadly did have a bad hand and missed ink. We managed to get the 2-0 on them. Or you just want polarizing matchups. And I'll admit this deck doesn't have any real polarizing matchups. So in a best of two environment, it's very hard to secure those 2-0 wins. But in best of three, like I say, you have enough games to, you know, work around what I need to mulligan for, what I don't need to mulligan for, and find the wins. So yeah, we managed to perform well enough. With yeah, like I said, we ended up being 42nd, which was just cool for the fact that I just didn't have any hopes for this deck, any expectations, and to still be playing the next day was really amazing. So yeah, sort of my view on the meta right now is just if you even watch the finals, like it was four purple decks, like three ruby amethyst and one green purple, all going into the finals, and I just knew purple was good. Like we all seen how powerful the genie was. I think the one drop Diablo is very good, but it's just insanely powerful. It just beats everyone. It's so good. There's so much card draw. Of course, card advantage is always key in TCGs. So it's just right now it feels criminal to not play purple cards. But you know, for some reason we decide not to and still play blue steel. We just make this build. So yeah, it's very different. I think what we can lean on is the fact that we have ward and resist, and we're very good at doing that. Very much Alice and Cogsworth. Really, you know, they're poster childs for the things that we can do that are very abusive. Whereas purple has very good card advantage, and they have evasives. A lot of purple have evasives now with the genie and the Elsa and Peter Pan and stuff like that. So their thing is evasive. Our thing is ward. Their thing is they draw a few more cards than we do. We have resist, I guess. And we just basically just play to our advantages. They play to their advantages, and we hope to win. So I do really like the deck. I think it's very interesting. But right now it does feel very criminal to just not be playing purple cards. It just seems so strong. They've got so many good tools this set, and you pair that with green, where you can just play more one, two questers like Merfolk, and then you can play Go-Go to finish games off. Or you can pair it with Ruby Amethyst and you know, do the same things that Ruby Amethyst is doing for this entirety of its lifetime, which has been this powerhouse of a deck that I hope would have died. It did die down in meta share, but I think that goes up again after this weekend, especially winning the event as well. And then you can pair it with Purple Steel, where you can get like all the steel removal, so into the other low to the ground matchups, you can be singing Zeus, fire the cannons, things like that, and winning the board. You can pair it with what's it called? Sorry, blue as well for a Blurple deck, which makes you win against I think a lot of the other purple mirrors. I think it does pretty well ramping into bigger stuff and still getting all that purple advantage with the cheaper sort of questers and the card draw, the passive card draw from Genie and stuff like that, which also feeds their ramp ability because whenever you ramp, you need good card draw. So I think Blurple actually gets a lot better than it was. So yeah, it just seems criminal to not run it, but still, I've got a lot of faith in the color combo of blue and steel. This weekend really proved that it still needs to be respected. People still need to think about the matchup and think that it might turn up. But yeah, and there were some other blue steel players as well. Justin got to play. I believe there was another person on no will. I can't remember who it was. I'm really sorry. Um, but Justin did very good. I'm still like that guy is just a god at playing wheel decks. I'd sort of lost faith in wheel. I'd gone to no wheel anyway at this point. So even though I would have played a standard blue steel list, I would have gone for a no wheel Cheater build, and I think that wouldn't have performed well enough. But yeah, he just really showed the powers of that deck. I think it was best of three. He would have just had a lot better chances, and I think there was a lot more decks as well that would have made the day two if it was best of three. Just because I don't like best of two. I'm just gonna stop complaining about best of two right now. But yeah, I still think Blue Steel has a lot of advantages. Alice is a very strong card. Ward is a very cool thing to do. Denying anyone any abilities besides challenging you. Of course, that does make Crab kind of a rough card to play into, but we can now play Resist as well. We can also, because we have bodyguards like Pluto, we can decide where we want people to rush things into. So we've got a lot going for us. We just need to adapt, and we just have these fun new decks that I managed to get to play. But yeah, like I say, look at the Battle of the Bay list, the top 32. These sort of styles of decks aren't foreign. I'm just saying this because I'm not posting this list out there anywhere right just in this instant. Try and watch this. I'd recommend watching this round one again just because I don't know, I was in it. I don't know how arrogant that was to say, but there was some good stuff in there. It was very interesting, and just the entire event was very interesting as well. So I'm rambling now, and I'm going to stop this video. But yeah, that was just me covering sort of my experience at the European qualifiers. Of course, now that we're free and there won't really be any DLCs or anything coming up worth really my too much time into. I was gonna say my time. No, they are. There's like winner boxes, winner cases, and store champs as well. But yeah, we'll focus on doing more videos. Hopefully, if people are planning going to the last chances in NA or just the Continentals, I can talk through more about my opinions on the meta, and maybe some of that might help people. But thank you very much as well for supporting. Like, it's been really awesome to be able to do something like a European Continental and then come and talk to people about it, and also people at the European Continental to know who you are and stuff like that. So it's just an amazing experience as well. So yeah, I'm gonna stop it now.